John, thank you so much for your time this morning. My gosh, I loved this movie. I don't even know where to start. It is so inspirational, so inspiring. I know that you directed like 13 odd years ago for Undefeated, but this is
Yeah.
big feature. Why, first off, why has it taken so long to get this story told? My goodness.
Oh my God. I mean, it's a long history. I mean, I've been in this business almost 3 decades, and my whole life's been an uphill battle against Hollywood, because you pitch stories to them that are true, relevant, historic, and they don't get it. They don't see me. They don't know my culture. It's tough. So it took 2 decades to get this movie here.
Yeah.
And I had to pitch it to studios, and they're still like telling me crazy things like that Latinos don't want to see Latinos, and I'm like, what? Who do we want to see? I mean, albinos. I mean, what is it? And then they tell me like Latin people don't want to see feel-good movies. They had all these ridiculous excuses.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then I found this beautiful man, Harvey Chaplin, in Brooklyn, wealthy, but from the streets, who gets these kids, and he gave us the money and bought the rights and nurtured the project, and I love that man.
Oh, it's so great. What a great story. And before we dive into it, the one thing that always stands out for me is a teacher who's made such a big difference in my life, my children's lives. There's always somebody.
Yeah, there is.
Who was it for you, John?
Well, I had a lot of people who intervened and came into my life, because I feel like if you're from these underprivileged backgrounds, you need somebody to come and tap you in the back and go, you're worth it. You can make it. It's possible. And I had my math teacher, Mr. Steven Zufa, who helped me out, who used to say crazy, he was funny too. You go, you have the attention span of a sperm, Mr. Leguizamo,
Oh, please.
And he wasn't wrong. He wasn't wrong. I was pretty precocious.
Yeah, but look at you now. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I've done all right. I've done all right. Thank you, Mr. Steven, though. And then, I've had a lot of great acting teachers who always nurtured me, had my back. Win Handman, rest in peace, who just passed from COVID, pneumonia, who was a national treasure. Obviously, Herbert Berghoff was big for me, and David Newer. I've had all these great acting teachers who I was always the only Latin guy in the class.
Yeah.
And they always treated me with great respect and nurtured my abilities.
Unbelievable. So this teacher, first of all, I want to know when this kind of really first came on your radar, and not just that, but just meeting the real Mario Martinez and the now grown adults, obviously. But what was that first meeting like for you, and what was his reaction to you wanting to tell his story?
Well, it was exciting. I flew down. I got the script offered. They wanted me to just to be the star, to be Mario. And then they said, "Can you go to Florida?" I said, "Absolutely. I want to meet." And I come to Miami. I meet this bigger than life man. Mm-hmm. He's got a powerful booming voice.
Yeah.
And I fell in love with this guy. He's so unconditionally loving to these guys. He was so all in. You never meet these kind of people who are just have so much to give, and there's never a limit. Most people have a limit too much. He doesn't. And he created this elective in 1998 in the toughest part of Miami, called Overtown, Liberty City back then.
Right.
And these kids started coming, these ghetto nerds, these gifted kids, these talented kids who had no place that was safe for them. The streets were too rough. They didn't want to play football. They weren't that kind of kid. They were nerds, ghetto nerds.
Right.
And they start filtering into his class. He starts, weeding out the ones that really have the talent and the ones that don't, unfortunately. And then he grooms them to be national chess champions, winners in 1998.
How versed were you in chess? Like, are you a chess guy?
I'm a chess amateur, dilettante. I can play. I used to go to Washington Square Park and play the guys and lose.
Okay.
But I got strategy. I got games. Obviously those guys crush me, but I've been beating my son lately, which is big for me.
That is big. That is big when you could beat your son. Yeah, absolutely. Now, so for you, like, did you have to do kind of a crash course in it or it was just, going by the script? And
oh, yeah.
I mean, you seem very, very versed in it.
No, it was, I had to immerse myself, and I asked the real guys, all 5 of them, and the
Yeah.
teacher, Mr. Martinez, I need you here. I
Right.
need you to get my guys up to par. I need you to help me. I want to play the exact games that you played in each championship,
Wow.
move by move. And I want you to teach us. So I had the actors come in a week before, which is unheard of in independent films,
Yeah.
and give me 12 hours a day. And then even after shooting, I said, you guys are going to have to meet me, and we're going to have to rehearse, because this movie is not easy. Chess is not an easy subject to visualize. It just
Yeah.
doesn't, it's not that exciting to see a lot of guys just staring at each other. So you have to be book perfect on day one. And they came, and the chess champions came, and they coached my guys. And every time I had is this real? Was this what really happened? And, we rewrite it. And Dito Montiel, to his credit, was up for it, the writer of the screenplay, to make the changes on a
Amazing.
night's notice.
Wow. Let me talk to me a little bit about casting the boys. They were all so good. Angel, I know from Pose, which I absolutely, oh my God, he's so good on that. But they were all so wonderful. And I think one of them did a voiceover also on Ice Age, I think, with you or something. I'm not sure. But they were all so fantastic.
Oh, yeah. I think was it Jorge?
I think so.
I
I
think it
think
was Jorge
so.
Leneborg.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Dominican kid. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I got to say, it was hard to cast. A.V. Kaufman, who's one of the great casting directors, legendary, helped me, because her eye is brilliant. But I had hundreds of choices. Hundreds. There was so much Latin talent and Black talent out there. I was like, how am I going to do this? And so I said to A.V., I'm going to pick the guys that look the closest or have the exact personality built in already to match the guys.
Right.
And that's how I kind of did it.
Amazing. They all really were fantastic. Did they work well together, like immediately? Did they kind of bond and gel? Because they're such a tight-knit group on screen, and how the chess brings them all together. I love that.
But what's interesting is that the original guys had that kind of love for each other, and I saw that. I clocked that. I was like, wow, that teacher loves them. These guys really love each other. They rib each other all the time, but they really love each other. And they formed a crazy bond over all these years, even though some of them are Republicans, some of them are Democrats, some have money, some don't. I mean, it unified them. And my actors were the same way. We came in there, we're here about the work. It's not about our egos, our vanity, who's got what. It's about, you got to deliver. Yeah. And they were up for the challenge.
John, I'm actually surprised that it's really taken you this long to really direct a feature, because you have such a wonderful eye. Like you say, you've been in the business for over 30 years. We've seen you in a billion movies. You're amazing. I want to know, though, two parts to this question. Yeah. How has your one-man shows helped you with your direction? And also, I want to know, because you've worked with so many amazing directors, who did you learn from?
Okay, the two-part question. I mean, it's great. Obviously, my one-man shows did inform my storytelling. I mean, that was the big learn from doing one-man shows on Broadway, was super tight storytelling.
Yeah.
And so I try to bring that to everything I do. You become a craftsman at storytelling, and you see the gears and how the mechanics of it. Well, I mean, I went to the best directing school in the world.
Yes.
Being in movies with Spike Lee, Ava DuVernay, De Palma, Tony and Ridley Scott,
Baz Luhrmann.
Baz Luhrmann. Yeah. Let's not forget.
Can't forget
Barry
him.
Levinson.
Yeah.
And you learn, man. You learn, especially because I'm that kind of curious guy that's always asking, why do you have 3 cameras there? And then Spike would tell me, because I'm trying to catch improv, and if you have only one, then the other person starts to repeat and starts to feel a little stale.
Yeah.
And then Baz Luhrmann, why do you rehearse so much before a movie? He goes, because it's, you have to get it all perfect before you shoot, so it can be theatrical. So, I learned from everybody, a little bit from everybody. Brian De Palma, storyboards to death. Yeah. That's why his shots are, the ultimate study charts,
Yeah.
And so I took a little bit from everybody.
Amazing. There's so many scenes that really stood out for me, and I didn't even realize that I would need a box of Kleenex next to me watching this. Thank you so much. But there one scene that really did. There's a scene where he really connects with the students, and he's talking to them during class. He's asked a question, and then you as Martinez goes to the door, checks to make sure that nobody's there, and then you give them the real, the scoop. Like, people like us are not seen in the history books, and it just really. Man, it sat with me, especially with what is going on in our world right now, John. At the end of the day, what would you like people to take from this film?
Well, I like them to understand that there's all these talented, gifted, genius kids in these underprivileged communities whose dreams are squandered, whose talents are wasted. And the only magic bullet for public schools is money.
Yeah.
Put money. The teachers, we have great teachers in America. They just need money so they can have smaller classes. And I guess the great thing that I want people to know is that together we're stronger. Together we're stronger. Nurturing each other, we're stronger. America is a beautiful melting pot. When we embrace it and love it and cherish it, we're better, and we will survive longer and continue to produce greatness. When we start going against the very thing that created this country, we dismantle it.
Yeah. So just listen, what an inspiring film. Just have 2 seconds. I want to wrap up, but I have to ask you about your next film, Harry Haft, coming out with you said Barry Levinson as the director. I love Barry. I mean, oh my God, he's just tell me a little bit about that and what we're going to see from there.
Well, it was such an honor to be a part of that movie. I think it's going to be Barry's magnum opus. It's a another true story. Powerful story for our times.
Yeah.
Harry Haft was an Auschwitz prisoner, and he was forced to fight other Jewish prisoners to the death, but he was able to survive. The Nazis fed him. They protected him, and he was able to escape. He comes to America, and he fights Rocky Marciano. And what a story of survival. I get chills just talking about it.
I just got goosebumps. Yeah. Wow, I can't wait for that. Well, like I say, you're just so talented, John. Honestly, I've been such a big fan forever and ever. And
thank you.
Moulin Rouge for me, of course, is still one of my absolute top favorite films.
Oh, masterpiece, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. But growing up in this home with my boys, Sid the Sloth takes #1 position.
Yes, go Sid. Yeah,
John,
it pay the bills for me.
Anything that pays the bills, I'm with you, my friend. Thank you so much for your time today, and thank you for this movie. It really is fantastic, and I can't wait for people to see it. Thank you.
Thank you. I had a blast.
Okay, take care. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye. Bye.